Dude, look at these beautiful shots. They are impeccable. Fuck, we better get this in the West is all I'm saying, or I riot. Kezza, Henshin. We got a new trailer. We got new posters. And it's looking amazing. I know I have already done a video on this already, so check that one first if you haven't. But, I need to talk about this as I noticed so much more than I recently noticed in this new trailer that just came out. So, let's fucking go. Sorry, I'm excited. Can you tell? For those who don't know, let me just repeat the explanation really quickly. Shin Kamen Rider is a movie coming out on March 18th of this year in Japan, based on the classic 1971 Kamen Rider series that started it all, and will be a part of the 50th anniversary of the Kamen Rider show. We don't know when we will be getting it internationally, but I hope we don't have to wait too long, especially us in Britain. The basic plot follows the original show where Takeshi Hongo is a student and a motorcycle enthusiast who is taken by the evil organization Shocker. They are experimented on to become a minion of their organization. This experiment turns them into a cyborg for evil purposes. It's pretty much for world domination. They go to brainwash him, but he escapes, and with his new abilities, chooses to start a war with Shocker itself. Not sure how close to the line the show will be, and how loyal to the original material it will be, as we could already see a few minimal changes, but from most of the trailer, it seems pretty on point, which should make Kamen Rider fans happy. The tagline for the film is the following: those who change, those which never change, and those that don't want to change. Dude, that's deep. Quickly going over the cast before we go to the trailer and my findings for context, we have Sosuke Ikimatsu as our Kamen Rider, Takeshi Hongo, followed by Dosuku Emoto playing Kamen Rider 2, Hayato Ichimonji, another human turned cyborg by Shocker but saved by Hongo. Next character is Ryuko Midorikawa, played by Minami Hamabe, the daughter of someone who passes away and initially blames Hongo for the passing, but becomes an ally eventually. I think she seems like a major part to this movie, as she is in every other shot pretty much. However, in the original, her character apparently is last mentioned helping Hongo in Europe in an attempt to defeat Shocker there about midway through the season. This movie may be based around that time. The person who passed away, unfortunately, is Hirohi Midorikawa, Professor Midorikawa, played by Shinya Tsukamoto, a scientist with Shocker who helps Hongo escape initially. So no wonder Midorikawa blamed Hongo for her father's death. Yikes. Now for the villains. Ooh, scary. Anyway, we have Komori Augment 01, played by Toru Tezuka, a bat-looking monster. Hachi Augment 01, played by Nanase Nishino, a bee monster who looks awesome. And finally, Kumo Augment 01. We don't actually know who is acting the monster, but I originally thought it was a scorpion. However, this may in fact be a spider based on the original character, Man Spider, who killed Hirohi Midorikawa. More on this later. To help them fight, we have Shocker low-class members who are their minions, and finally we have a surprise appearance in the cast list, but interesting nonetheless. We have Ichiro Midorikawa. You should recognize the name, as I've already said it many times this video. Ichiro Midorikawa is in fact the son of Hirohi and brother to Ryuko. This whole family is involved with Shocker, yikes, as Ichiro was also one of the ones who gets converted into a cyborg, but in the manga, there is no true peace in the world. Shin Kamen Rider, Shocker side. They will be played by Mirai Moriyama. There is a screenshot of this character in the trailer, so I think they are definitely in this movie. I'll point that out later. Unfortunately, no suit actors have been announced yet, which is a shame, so we are still waiting on those names. Now let's just get right into it. We are going to go through each shot of the trailer and talk about the context along the way. Let's go. But beware, we're going into detail so you don't miss a thing. First, of course, we see the Toei logo with the crashing seas in the back. Great, simple, perfect. Next, we see our Kamen Rider 1 jump around across the screen in all different directions. Oh, I'm already feeling dizzy. This is actually from the original show where he jumps into action. Next shot, we see Hongo posed, most likely his Henshin. This is very similar to the original show again, and I know I shouldn't be surprised, but it's nice to see it done so well. We see him zooming to his next target on his bike. I thought it was originally Ryuko on the bike, as in the next shot she is caught with her helmet being yanked off. However, the helmet is black, so this is our Hongo, also known as Ichigo. Ryuko is surrounded by soldiers in the next shot, so she is either kidnapped during her adventures with our rider, or this is before Hongo becomes Ichigo, and why her father is forced to work for Shocker, forced into submission in order to protect her like the show. God, this has got complicated. This next shot is really interesting as we didn't see this last time. We see Hongo's hand and it looks green, veiny, and spiky like an insect. The Kamen Riders here are based on insects and bugs, so this is interesting. Is he slowly turning insect? This is so cool, but kinda ill. Moving on, but I'll touch on this again later. Next shot, we are at a dam where Ryuko and Hongo are walking side by side. They might have come in through helicopter due to the helicopter marking on the floor and could be before the fight or after, as they seem quite relaxed. And as I said, Ryuko is in the next shot again, like every other shot, guys. So she might be integral to the story. She's looking up from her watch and in the background is his motorbike. Next, we see a beautiful sunset or sunrise. This movie is so pretty. I can't get over it, honestly. There are a lot of wide angles in this movie, not like Shin Ultraman, which had many close-up at weird angles, so this may be more of a landscapey movie, which I am not angry about. After that beautiful shot, we see a train track and Ryuko and Hongo meeting in the middle, her holding his trench coat almost like an assistant, after a fight welcoming him back. However, the next shot is her looking sad and some police or government looking guys waiting by a black car behind her. Does the government get involved? Maybe, but I don't think they will accept the help, as the following is a shot of them traveling together, searching and fighting Shocker by the looks of it without assistance. Ryuko is also seen with a blanket around her shoulders, probably just saved by Hongo. We see a wide landscape shot of a power plant where the final battle will probably be. We see the same shot multiple times at different heights and angles, maybe a Shocker building where experiments are being held. A quite industrial shot compared to the following shot of Hongo by a river putting the helmet on. Now, this makes me think we don't get a Henshin per se, as the helmet is just put on and held at the side when not in use. For those who were excited for a Henshin, bad news, guys, I don't think we get one. This moment though, with the Henshin sounding music, is so innocent and sad. He's almost hesitant to put it on. A hero who didn't want to be a hero is forced to take up the mantle. A story as old as time. And the next shot confirms it. He looks sad and almost remorseful or empathetic of what's happening to whoever is in front of him. Again, we see a wide shot of this power plant, and finally we get the first viewing of Kamen Rider 2, Hayato Ichimonji, already transformed. He looks so cool, by the way. I have a theory he is already brainwashed, but we shall see. And following, we have a power shot of Ichimonji without the helmet. This shot is a lot more delicate and raw, almost like his mind has been saved or Hongo has taken the pressure away. Something about it is so pure. Okay, maybe he's not brainwashed, but it's still so cool and powerful. Ichigo and Ryuko walk down a tunnel, leaving the bike behind them with a zoomed up shot too. And with this change of mood, we get a sudden music change and the villains are shown on the drop. This change was so cool. We see a white clothed man from the head down. Crazy shots like this are only shown on the villains. Who could this be? Maybe the main villain? The leader of Shocker? As the Shocker scientists from the OG show were all in white. So maybe. Or even it might be Ichiro. Cause like, look at the pictures of Ichiro and then the actor, like, this could be the, yeah, anyway. Next villain we see is a female, who is in fact Hachi, but without her helmet, a bee-themed monster created by Shocker. She has a honeycomb design on her suit and her helmet is even cooler. And then finally we see Hongo fight with Kumo. This fight goes on till the end of the trailer pretty much, and is again pretty much the first fight in the first episode of the OG show. Like, look at these side by sides, it's spot on. My jaw dropped when I realized, props to the team. We then proceed to see the other characters one by one. Professor Midorikawa, I presume the scientist who saved Hongo's life. Komori, a bat-looking monster who was this shot from the other trailer earlier on, and may in fact be Dr. Shinigami or Dr. Death from the original. I say this because he looks like a vampire and the bat face could be in reference to a vampire, but I may be completely wrong. Actually, correction, now I think it is the terrifying Batman, because that's not trademarked everywhere. A mysterious woman with a black and white half mask that looks like it has pincers or claws of some dangerous animal on it. Maybe another Shocker leader. Another shot of Hachi, this time with her helmet on. She's so cool! And something I want to point out is the B logo in the back. Do they all have logos? Are they like upper generals of the Shocker Foundation, each with their own legion of minions to lead, all based on insects, dangerous or not? Another head down shot of another old man. Maybe this is Dr. Shinigami or Dr. Death from the original? I don't know who this man is, honestly, but he is surrounded by the computer servers for what I guess is the science lab and Shocker, and I think that must be all the villains so far. Back to our heroes, we have Hongo looking down in defeat, or in anguish it looks like, or maybe even in fear, as Ryoko looks up from the floor. Nice contrast again. This may be when she was kidnapped by Shaka before, or even midway through the movie. Then we see our second rider Henshining, or just putting the helmet on, as he seems intense, so maybe brainwashed here, but they meet up rider to rider, unhelmeted. Is that a word? I'm not sure. Anyway, they meet up and it's almost mirrored exactly. 2 riders, one original, the other one made to replicate him, with their bikes out as well and the mountain behind them. We eventually get this awkward camera shot on Ryuko that snaps away, quickly followed by a whole house exploding. This could mean Ryuko has to betray our Kamen Rider. Who knows? This trailer quickly took a dramatic turn as we see the house that maybe Hongo was keeping as a safe house explode. And I think this house and the explosion are real. No CGI in this movie so far, so that leads me to think that this movie will be more practical with its effects. Continuing the intensity and dramaticness, Ichigo spins around to be confronted by a line of Shaka soldiers, 8 with spears, 2 with katanas, and Kumo in the middle with Ryoko thrown over his shoulder, knocked out. I made a French joke last time, so here it is again. Ryoko has a gun, 3 close-ups of Hongo, and a transforming bike. Okay, let me just catch my breath. This trailer got way too intense. Let's talk about the bike. It is really interesting as it's another reference to the OG show, the bike transforming like it does in the original as they ride along the industrial zone again. Is it a chase or a journey to the next shocker to be knocked out? I don't care, because this shot of the bike growing and changing is beautiful. Like, look at the CGI in that. And it looks so good. And the final shot is what we are all waiting for. The Kamen Rider special, a rider kick. And that's the end. What the heck? What a trailer that was! I'm super pumped. Now, a few thoughts before we end this video. From the last video, I did say I hadn't watched any of the Shin movies yet, but this time I have now seen Shin Ultraman in the cinemas. I did a video on my thoughts, so go check that out if you haven't yet. But what they did was they referenced a whole season of Ultraman, having multiple villains pop in and out. However, this trailer mainly shows the first episode in detail, showing references to other villains along the way. Will this be a mega reference to a whole season in a movie, or just touches on specific moments from the first half of the show, leading to a cliffhanger on what Hongo must do next? We shall see. Next, just a comment on the suit in general, having now seen it in action. Firstly, the helmet does not seem to be for the Henshins, more out of practicality with the motorbikes and for battle. He transforms by just putting the helmet on, not it appearing after shouting Henshin. This seems like it's more of a practical movie, using special effects and less CGI, more humbled and engrossed in the character rather than a visual phenomenon like Shin Godzilla and Shin Ultraman. And going back to the helmet, Thomas Jujubee hates the hair poking out. I don't think it's that bad, and everyone I've spoken to doesn't mind it. But a man knows what a man wants, apparently, and Thomas don't want anything to do with the hair poking out of the helmet. Also, the fact that Hongo's hand is like an insect now makes me think that as well as being more realistic and practical with the use of the helmet, the writers and directors are being more literal with the cyborg/bug experiment actually turning him into an augmented human being or an actual bug. It's cool, but also freaky. Moving on. The cameras in this movie, the shots are a lot wider and landscapey. We have wide shots of the sunset, the power plant, and of the characters specifically, adding a feeling of overwhelming fear and loneliness that Hongo and our characters must now feel with this power and responsibility. This got kinda sad, so let's end it here. Developed by Hideki Anno, Shin Kamen Rider will hit cinemas in Japan in March. And when will we get the international release? We shall see. But I am hyped to watch this, honestly. This will be another incredible movie based on an OG tokusatsu show that deserves attention and is a must-watch for toku fans everywhere. I hope I have hyped this up for you, as well as highlighting details and references from the trailer that you haven't seen or noticed yet. See you next time, Kezza Henshin. Namata de!